define culture as a way of life in the way that we practice our everyday practices and how we do things, I think it's a baseline that connects us all. And in fact, that's something that we engage in on a daily level, whether we know it or whether we don't. We all eat, we all read, we all consume television, so why not get together and enjoy things in a face-to-face capacity so that we're actually doing it live in our neighbourhoods, in our places, and responding to some of the stimulus that allows.
I think it's really important to say that without Making Waves project, there wouldn't be the First Light Festival in Lowestoft. It gave us real experience of working at a grassroots level in Lowestoft, so that we really understood the context of the town. It enabled us to work with partners who are now happily part of First Light Festival as well, delivering on programming and other aspects of the festival, helping us with our steering group. So I think it's been really important actually, and it's been incredibly beneficial.
Things like the venue alignment strand has been really, really useful in terms of making us closer to the Seagull and to other local theatres to find out how we all work and how we can kind of cross-pollinate and work together.
So these tunnels for the last 5 years has been vandalised all the time, and for 2 years we have been fighting to get the permission to paint and deliver some artistic work on these tunnels and make them more comfortable and welcome to the community that pass on these tunnels every day. Through Making Waves together, finally we were able to do it. I believe without this funding we never would have the permission or the support to make this possible.
A really good thing for Yarmouth has been the Cultural Schools programme that's happened as a result of Making Waves, and this is where the schools have been able to say what cultural opportunities and activities they want to develop in their schools, and then through Making Waves the LSEP and Joy Great Yarmouth has been able to broker those kinds of relationships with arts organisations, and they've enabled the schools to develop their cultural focus.
We've very quickly made lots of relationships thanks to Making Waves together. So we've had the opportunity to take on spaces, the funding to try out projects and experiment in different ways of working, and that might be through a workshop or a Sonic Arts Festival or an exhibition, and really testing and doing those ideas with people was the most important thing, and learning from the people who live here who we want to make this work for.
And I mean this wouldn't have been possible without support from Great Places and from Arts Council England, National Heritage Lottery Fund, and supported by Historic England. So thank you very much for helping us do all these wonderful things.
Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft has so much in common. We have similar communities, but we also have opportunities around the offshore wind energy. But we haven't necessarily worked on a cultural project before. So this gave us an opportunity for Lowestoft-based organisations to work in Great Yarmouth and vice versa. So Great Yarmouth organisations are working in Lowestoft and reaching new audiences they hadn't necessarily worked with before, and that enabled them to widen their scope and widen their influence.
The Making Waves has been great for linking us together. We've worked with Preservation Trust and the LSEP, and we've really done some mutually beneficial events. We've kind of pooled resources and made it work for all of us.
2 LSEPs have been able to come together to work really well together, to share all of their different expertise, the different arts organisations and arts practitioners, and to create really good cultural opportunities that are available to children and young people in both towns. For example, we've been able to put on 2 youth arts festivals both in Lowestoft and in Yarmouth, and also create things such as CPD opportunities for teachers, and this sort of sharing from each other and the expertise that each other have.
One of the most exciting things for me about the project has been that I can work across Lowestoft and Great Yarmouth, and every week I cross the border, I cross the River Waveney and we go into this unknown territory such as Suffolk, but it's been a really good learning experience.
So many things make Great Yarmouth extraordinary, but I think for me it's the extremes that were really attractive. The diversity of the population, diversity of buildings. It's had extraordinary histories and fortunes that have come from that, so from trading, from fishing, from oil and gas, and now from offshore and the associated, so wind industry.
I think culture is important to everybody, and it's very important for the people who live in Lowestoft. I think perhaps Lowestoft in the past has been a bit overlooked, and local people in Lowestoft have been used to having to go elsewhere to engage with cultural experiences. And now it really feels as if that's changing. There's been a real shift And people, all people, want to express their creativity in whatever ways, and I think that the Making Waves project, working with youngsters in the town, has been fantastic because there's so much potential and so much innate creativity.
Making Waves Together is also about strategic change, amending and adapting policy to make sure culture is at the heart of everything that we do as a council and as a place. So part of that was for Lowestoft to have its first cultural strategy. It's a 5-year vision, brings together collaborators and cultural leaders and place leaders within Lowestoft to help drive forward a vision where we're enabling communities to take part in culture, we're driving forward economic and regeneration growth through culture, and also we're developing a place where culture and place are entwined and interlinked.
Making Waves Together came at a fantastic time for Great Yarmouth, not only enabling us the opportunity to work with Lowestoft in a more focused way, but also to uncover and develop relationships locally, specifically working with local communities around placemaking, but also being able to weave that into some of our more strategic and more ambitious long-term plans around development and growth, specifically with the town centre, the seafront, and actually now looking at our tourism and heritage and culture strategy in a refreshed way.
Over the 3 years Making Waves Together as well, we've delivered 2 creative summits. The first one was about workplaces and how creative people and creative spaces can impact on a town, how they can contribute to the life there. The second one was looking at creative high streets and how town centres and high streets have changed dramatically, mostly due to online shopping, but other reasons as well, and how creative approaches to using space can address that and offer something else for people other than the shopping and reinvigorate the spaces they live in.
I'm an artist based in East Anglia. I moved up here in July 2017 and wasn't really very connected and didn't have much work up here, and through the Making Waves Circulate events I met Lucy Enscat from Hocus Pocus Theatre and we established a relationship, and I've been working with them for the last 2.5 years on several funded projects. And it's all down to Circulate for making that connection.
These are our fabulous seaside suitcases, which I'll just show you the side view of. We're very proud of. I worked with Russell and Martin from Herring House Trust and we put these together. We were actually nominated for 2 awards for these. One of these was the Museum Changing Lives Awards and the other one was the Welcome Trust Award, because that was different ways of collecting and also how the impact that I think putting these together had on the lives of these guys here and their friends. So shall I leave you to open one of the cases and you can show what's inside?
Yeah, so we got to pick a lot of different items and then actually make the packaging and all that. So this is one of the items, which is a mod jacket. It's kind of cool. It's original from back in the day. It was given to the museum, but these, what we did, we got to pack them and we had to design how each piece was going to fit inside there, so it's for transport and to keep everything safe. So little old memory sparking things like the buckets and things like that, just to kind of get people to be able to touch and feel and get memories back. We went to the Lydia Eva retirement village and we spoke to some of the elderly people there, and it really changed them. I mean, you could see in their eyes how they would remember back in the day when they would come to the seaside as a child and things like that. So it was really, really fulfilling to do that.
With all parts of the project, it's shown there's a fondness of the rows and the scores in both towns. There's people that have got personal connections to these areas, but also people are interested in looking at the places that they live and learning more about them.
Putting the power in the hands of the young people. You know, the workshops are about helping them express themselves, giving them different tools and techniques and skill sets to write about, talk about what's important to them. A lot of the playwriting workshop focuses on questions like, how do you feel about where you live? What would you change about the world? And they're sort of really, really powerful questions, and I think there's something really profound in that sort of unfiltered creativity. You know, there's no kind of editing process. We don't say that this play has to be about this or that. It's about whatever matters to them, and I think there's something really sort of really exciting. It's raw, it's unfiltered, it's what matters to young people at that point in time.
Both of the projects that Flipside has produced through the Great Places project interact with young people around issues that really affect where they live. In Lowestoft, flooding is a real and sort of present danger, and as it is across the country. And the idea of that project was really to get young people to think about what flooding has meant for the town as recently as 2013. And I think that it worked incredibly well, using language and imagination to think about the sea, to think about being a coastal town, and to think about the positivity of something like a flood wall which is going to be built for resilience for the town and for their hope as people who live in Lowestoft for the future.
A youth group of young people that are planning the Youth Arts Festival in Lowestoft called Nestfest, and they absolutely love getting involved in all the different elements of planning a Youth Arts Festival. They said that they've never really had the opportunity to try out so many different art forms. They get to choose all the different activities that are going to happen in the festival, and then they're also involved in all the different elements of that festival, from say the organisation to marketing to promotion to publicity to working out things like the logo, the organisation of the day, where all the different people are. And they said it's an absolutely fantastic opportunity that they just wouldn't have.
In Great Yarmouth, the wind power project was really inspired by the town being a base for wind energy and for the arrays that are out at sea. And we really wanted the young people involved to think about how that impacts them, potentially for jobs and skills, for renewable energy and sustainability for this part of the country. And so having the legacy of the sculpture in the gardens, in the Venetian waterways, with that wonderful sort of connection out to the sea was very important.
I think it's been a real changer for everybody that's involved in a lot of these things, because for us, so many of the Making Waves Together projects have been about creating, and as a presenting house, that's not normally what we've been about, and it's not what we've been known for. So throughout all of the strands of this, it's been about creating work and actually doing things, not just talking about it.
It was really nice because my child has got additional needs, so seeing her come out of her comfort zone and actually performing in front of loads of different people and taking pride in herself, that was nice for me to see, because it showed that how much effort has been put in from the staff to build that bond with my daughter to get her to perform like that, really.
With our primary school participants, I've really seen a growth in confidence in their own abilities, in trying new things and being open to new things. I've seen them have a lot of fun, and that's really important, and a lot of conversations being started over their local history.
Her confidence has grown and she's shown commitment to something. Sometimes she's a bit here, there and everywhere, but with her dance she's very committed, and it allows her to express herself through movement, which I really like. I really like that.
It's always difficult getting people to buy into the idea of dancing, particularly if they haven't done any dancing before, and lots of people's perceptions of what dance is kind of led by what they see on TV. So sometimes there's a bit of groundwork to do there to kind of go, actually it can be much more than that. But I guess days like today are the kind of icing on the cake, and you kind of see how people then go, oh yes, I understand that dance can be all these other things as well. So yeah, it's an enjoyable journey to go on.
Working on site as part of promenade performances has been a completely new challenge and opportunity. So for that I'm really grateful and thankful. It's been absolutely lovely to dance in Nicholas Everett Park, out in nature, and beautiful weather today, so that's been lovely too. To work with Glasshouse Dance and Dance East has been a complete joy and a privilege, and I'm so thankful for the opportunity.
Anything which brings disparate groups or different groups from a town or a community together to celebrate what's common has got to be a good thing. Something which is physically active, which is creative, artistic, but also bringing together heritage and a sense of community has got to be worth investing in.